My name is Sarah Clatterbuck. I'm a director of engineering at LinkedIn. My team works on application infrastructure, and one part of that is our accessibility efforts. A technology team is like a jigsaw puzzle. It takes many unique pieces to create the big picture. Conversely, a team that consists of many of the exact same piece has a hard time making something compelling. I'm a piece in a giant puzzle, the puzzle of the technology team I belong to, a tiny piece in a larger industry of technologists building products, and an even smaller piece of the global community consuming technology. In the industry, the puzzle is not complete. There are too many of the same pieces. We are obsessed with the elite, the pedigreed, the ideal, especially when building teams of technologists. We micro-optimize without being aware of the consequences. Imagine I have this puzzle piece. It is beautiful. It has a pleasing shape and color. It is ideal. Now imagine I have thousands of the same piece. Together, they cannot create anything compelling. They are ineffectual, boring. They can't possibly be put together to make anything magnificent. Complementing shapes and colors are needed to create the big picture. Our end users are representative of this kaleidoscope of shapes and colors. Our teams need to mirror that if we ever hope to deliver something that appeals to a global audience. Otherwise, we end up with technology that only serves a few. And only serving a few results in a non-sustainable product. I'm going to walk you through our journey at LinkedIn and our quest to build inclusive and sustainable products. It started with understanding how people with disabilities experience technology and moved us on towards building inclusive products and finally towards building an inclusive team and company. So awareness was really the first step in our journey as a company. When I came to LinkedIn, I was coming from Yahoo, which was a very established company. And as part of the engineering team there, we did a lot of things to get products ready for market. We knew that we had to have a security review and an accessibility review and a performance review. And all of these things were required before we could send anything to the public. And when I came to LinkedIn, it was a much younger company. It was very much emerging from the startup phase. There was very little process. And it was just rapidly shipping products to market as quickly as possible to try to understand how people would accept them. And the team was also very young. We had a team of technologists largely right out of school. There were hardly any technologists that had more than 5 years of experience in the company. So I decided to start with our front-end engineering team, and we essentially invited visitors, friends and former colleagues who either had disabilities or who had great awareness about how to build inclusive products, and they would come and show us how they would interact with our products. And it was a great experience for the entire team to be able to see in action people with disabilities consuming our products. After getting some awareness with the technology team, though, I decided that this awareness needed to move earlier into the funnel, and we needed to actually be speaking to our design team earlier in the process. And so I gave a talk at our user experience all hands, and I really spoke about building inclusive products and how making an improvement for accessibility would result in an upgrade for all users. And it was really interesting. I had one of the most influential designers in the company at the time come up and try to navigate the site using a keyboard only. And that was a very eye-opening experience for the team. As a result of that talk, I was invited by the design team to come to their weekly design review sessions, which were happening by this time. And that was a great opportunity for me to look at designs early with designers, ask a lot of questions about what they were trying to do. And it was interesting because the designs we would look at would typically be very flat. They would be mock-based designs, and there wasn't a lot of information yet about how the products should work. So I would ask questions about, hey, how is this supposed to function? What are the error states? How are we informing the users on what the status of this app is at this time? The last piece of our awareness journey was getting the user research team involved in our efforts. They're also part of the larger user experience team. So we have these events called field days once a quarter that the research team puts on, where our executives and other members of the R&D team have an opportunity to go out and meet with members and see how they're using our products. So we put on an accessibility field day, and we actually went to San Francisco and met with quite a few members who had disabilities, a lot of them hidden disabilities, and that was an opportunity for our research team to really get involved and to understand what our members are facing, them and our executives, a really great opportunity. Once we had some awareness going in the entire R&D team, it was time for us to start our journey of building inclusive products. We needed to actually put this into action. And this started initially with a small group of engineers doing some hacking on the site. So once a quarter, or actually once a month, we have something called In Day, and it's a time where people can do hacking, personal projects, anything that they want to learn, or any volunteer work. And so we actually started by doing some minor improvements that we saw that needed to happen and checking those in. Well, that work sort of spawned, and we actually did group projects where we actually built hack day projects around accessibility. And one of the things that we built was a toolbar that would allow people who were navigating by keyboard to experience the same functionality as a screen reader, where they could jump to major landmarks on the page. That toolbar actually won Hack Day that month, and we actually went on to ship that product to our users. So we ended up building out an accessibility task force around this time as well. And the task force was a group of volunteers who would come together once a week, and we had a stack-ranked backlog of tasks that we wanted to improve on the site. And people would show up, and they'd just pull something off of the top of the backlog, and we'd all give an update, almost like a stand-up. And at the end of that session, we would offer office hours for teams who were in early implementation phase to come and get advice on how they should build their products inclusively. And this was really the start of us getting ahead of products in the pipeline rather than chasing products after they'd been built. Around this time, we also got funding to start our full-time accessibility team, and we were extremely lucky to attract Jennison Ascension to come lead our accessibility efforts, who's the co-founder of Global Accessibility Awareness Day. So belated GAD, Jennison. And he's actually been steering this since that time. He had a really cool first project he decided he was going to do, which was to get a survey out to all of our users about how they were experiencing our products and to self-identify with disabilities. And so it was a funny thing. We found out that none of the survey vendors out in the industry had fully accessible survey tools. So we had to build our own. And one of the engineers from the task force actually jumped in and built one on top of our content management system so that we can reuse that survey tool year to year. We also started having monthly lab hours where our research team would invite other product teams to come in and see how their products work with assistive technology. So the research team made an investment in assistive technology for our lab so that we can test our products on an ongoing basis. And finally, we included accessibility as a key component of engineering craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is one of the key engineering values that we measure in the company and a way that we look at the progression of engineers. As our company grew, our team got more diverse. We got a lot more people with different backgrounds, different life experience, more experience. And it's funny, when we started adding people with disabilities to our technology team, the types of changes that happened. Engineers are an incredibly powerful force in a technology company for change of all kinds. And we started seeing engineers asking for things for themselves and for each other. The first thing up was our all hands. We have a meeting every other week where the CEO updates the company on strategy and vision. And an engineer asked, hey, could we have this captioned? And I couldn't believe how quickly that happened. I mean, it was literally within 2 weeks that the team started captioning our all hands for the company. And I benefit from that even though I'm not hearing impaired, because I like to watch the all hands at my desk and not have to put on headphones. So it's a great benefit for the entire company. We also had a new building come up in San Francisco recently. One of the engineers noticed that the vendor screwed up the signs on the conference rooms. They were supposed to have Braille, and the Braille was printed but not raised. So again, it got fixed in very short order because this was noticed by an engineer on the team looking out for their fellow team members. And finally, having engineering leaders is incredibly powerful. Jennison got a meeting with our SVP of Engineering and Operations, and this was near the time when we were shipping our new app to the public at the end of last year. And our SVP was really curious, like, how do you use the phone? How do you navigate our app? And that meeting led to him understanding that there were actually some things we needed to fix before we got it out to the public. It was a very powerful session, and we got air cover to fix those things. And not only that, we got additional funding to add more mobile expertise to our accessibility team. Yes. We've accomplished our goals largely working from the outside in. But I can't help but thinking how much faster we would have gotten there by working from the inside out. I'm incredibly thankful for all the people who've joined our team to make our team better, to make our products better, and to help us create the big picture. Thank you very much.